All right, so very much like yesterday, we're going to add integers, but instead of using the number line, we're going to use a new method called a t-chart. Okay, so with that said, all right, we do have one vocab word on this lesson. All right, so here is the vocab word that your book gives you. It is called additive inverse. Everyone?
Additive inverse.
All right, so here's what the book says additive inverse is. It's an integer and its opposite. Okay, so you'll hear me say additive inverse a lot, and it's kind of referring to this, but we'll use it in during other times during the school year. Okay, especially when we're talking about equations. It's a time we'll use it. So here's what you're going to write in your box: -6 and +6, or the idea of that -6 plus 6. All right, -6 plus a +6 combined equals 0. Okay, so that is how we'll use additive inverse a lot. Okay. Okay, questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Okay, here we go. All right, so what I'd like you guys to do is go ahead and that's it for that lesson. So go ahead and grab your book, grab a piece of lined paper, and turn to page 58. Page 58. Okay, eyes up here whenever you're ready, and then we'll move on. Okay, at the top of your paper, of course, make sure you have your name, first and last name, your period, date, page number, page 58, assignment number, all that great stuff. Okay. All right, here we go. Very first problem I want to take a look at is on page 58, problem number 1. Okay, problem number 1 is -5 plus -6, and they have parentheses around the -6 just for visual help. Okay, here we go. Step 1, you're going to see that these steps, at least at the beginning, are very similar to the steps when we were using the number line. Okay, step 1 is what we were just talking about earlier. Let's identify the value of these integers by circling the integer with the sign in front. So in this case, 5 with the negative. This 6, right, has two signs in front. It has the addition sign and the negative sign. You're just circling the 6 with the negative, just the one sign right in front of it to its left. Okay, step 2. Let me introduce you to the t-chart. So here's what it is. It's just a way to use the integer rules on combining integers, adding, subtracting them, but using a chart to organize your work. So we're going to go ahead. It's like a lowercase t, okay? And we're going to put one side positive, one side negative. Okay, step 3, what we're going to do then is we're going to go ahead and you're going to place the integers on the correct side. Place the integers on the correct side. Go ahead and try that. I'll check with you in just a second. Okay. All right, so here we go. What you should have done is -5 would go on the negative side. The 6 is also negative. It goes on the negative side as well. Okay. So if you did it differently, go ahead and just kind of erase it really quickly and change it. Okay. So I've just put an arrow over to the T chart there. Okay, now step 4. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to have you write down the rules. Okay. So here are the rules. When you put the integers on their side, notice I didn't, negative, it's already labeled under the negative. So I just put its absolute value, meaning just the integer underneath without the negative. But what you're going to do is when you place them under the T-chart, okay, if the two integers are on different sides, you're going to subtract, and you're going to keep the above sign. Okay? Now, first of all, are they on different sides? No. So we're not going to worry about that right now. Here's what we're going to do next. What if they're on the same sides? That's, of course, this one we're talking about, right? If they're on the same side, you are going to add and keep the above sign. So, 5 and 6 are both negative. We go ahead and add them up. 5 and 6 is 11. 5 plus 6 is 11. And we keep the above sign. It's on the negative side. Our answer is -11. Just mentally, right? If we're talking about if this was on, let's say if this was on a number line, right? That means from 0 you go to -5, and then this one would mean you go left another 6. Well, where would you end up? -11. So it's the same kind of idea. Okay, just using a different method. Okay. Questions?
In the T-chart, when you put absolute value, can you put negatives on the negative?
You can. The only issue is when you put negatives here, that may start confusing you with the rules. So you might be going, okay, so Mr. Wilkins said a -5 and a -6, and I'm going to go ahead, they're on the same side, so I'm going to add them. And it might work. Subtraction, if they're on different sides, I mean, it might get, you might have a -5, you move it over, and all of a sudden it becomes a +5. So, but as long as you stick with and you're consistent, I'm not too picky about that. Okay, as long as you know the rules and you can calculate it the right way. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Okay, I'm going to have you guys try one. Here we go. Problem 10. Problem 10. All right. Go. Okay. How many of you are still working on 10? Okay. All right. Go ahead. I'll give you a few more seconds there. I'll check in with you in just about 15, 20 seconds. Okay, anyone still need more time? Okay, 30 seconds. Go ahead, turn to your neighbor. Share your answer. Of course, if the answers don't match up, make sure you guys look at each other's T-chart. 30 seconds. Go.
There's a 14. Oh, wait.
Okay. Let me ask just really quickly, is there anyone in here that does not know who their assigned partner is? Okay. Your assigned partner is right next to these two middles, okay? Your assigned partner, you're right, is right next to you, okay? Which, of course, brings me to my next thing, guys. If your partner's not here, okay, that means that you need to either join someone in front of you or behind you. Don't join someone to the side of you, because if you join a group to the side of you, you're talking in a row and it's less productive. What I'm talking about, if I was to turn around to two people behind me, we've got like a little triangle going, we could talk better. Or if the two people in front of me would turn around, we still have that triangle, and we can see each other's paper. Okay, it's a better way to share as a group. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of people being left out right now, and I don't want that. Okay, I want everyone to have an opportunity to share, bounce your ideas off of someone else, check and see. Okay, so everyone should be talking during that time. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at problem number 10. Number 10, I'm going to go over this. I want you to, ultimately, here's what I want your homework to be like. So a lot of you guys took a lot of time to do that problem. That's okay, you're just getting started. But what I just want to show you is the end result of using a T-chart. When you're good and you know the rules, it's very easy. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and circle my -7 and my -3, build my T-chart. Okay, they're both negative values, so I put them both on that side. Because they're on the same side, I add it up. It's a negative, so -10. Okay, so now listen, I mean, obviously I've been teaching this for a long time, so I don't expect you to be that fast right now, so it's going to take you a little longer. But what I'm showing you is a lot of people like going, well, I have all this work to show, I have all this, and it takes me like an hour to do one problem or something like that. And no, once you get good at it and you know the rules, okay, but use the rules. Don't start doing the rules incorrectly at the start, because you're going to create some bad habits. So use them. Go slower at the start. By the time you're done with 2 through 20 even, hopefully you've already memorized the rules. They're that easy. You can then do these without using T-chart. That's why I have assigned it that way. Okay. All right. Let's try another one. Any questions before we take a look at another one?
So how would you do one with 3?
Okay, we'll take a look at those. Okay, that's a great question. If I forget to tell you, and if I don't look at it, make sure you let me know. Remind me, okay? Let's take one step at a time here. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at problem number 3. Okay, here we go. It is -18 plus 11. Oops, I wrote 11 while I was saying it, but -18 plus 11. Okay, you're going to see me do the exact same steps. I'm going to go ahead and work over here. I'm going to do the exact same steps. I'm just not going to write the steps. So here we go. Okay, step 1 was circle the integers with the sign in front. So it's a -18 and a +11. Step 2, I'm building my T-chart. And then step 3, I'm placing them on my T-chart. So 18 is a negative value, so it goes on the negative side. 11 is positive. I turn around. They are on different sides. According to my rules, I subtract and keep the above sign. So it was, Mr. Wilkins, what do you mean you subtract? At this point, pretend like you're a 3rd grader again. You wouldn't say 11 minus 18, right? What would you do? You'd bring the one with the smaller absolute value under the one with the bigger absolute value. That way, when you subtract it, 1 minus 1 is nothing, 8 minus 1 is 7. And then that's the side you end up on. So it is, of course, we're keeping that sign. It's a -7. Okay. Okay, questions on number 3? All right. Okay, Then try out problem number 2. Number 2, 30 seconds, go. You know I need more time. Okay, a few more seconds. Okay, 30 seconds. Go ahead and turn to your neighbor and share. Go.
Wait. Sorry.
Okay, here we go. Problem number 2 was 14 plus negative 5. So, here's what you should have done. Circle your integers. I have a positive 14 up front. The second integer is a negative 5. So when I build my t-chart, positive and negative, I put my 14 on the positive side, my 5 on the negative side. I go ahead. They're on different sides. I subtract. So I bring the 5 under. 14 minus 5 is 9, and it's on the positive side, so positive 9. Okay? Questions on that one? Okay. All right, here we go. Last type of problem here. Let's take a look at problem number 6. Okay, it's a word problem. Okay, now remember taking a look, right? Just looking at our chart up here that on our notes. Remember number 16 at the very top, where it was like 5 strokes above par, and it had you write a positive 5, and then it said the opposite was negative 5, and then it said, you know, it was like 5 strokes below par was yet a. So here's what they do. They take those ideas and they're just making a little story with them. Okay? So here is what we're going to do. All right? So number 6, all right, says the temperature in Rockford, Illinois was negative 3 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature rose 3 degrees. What's the current temperature? So here we go. I guess you'd say in this particular case, you're going to go ahead, they're going to, step 1, they're going to give you an integer with a value. In this case, it's 3 degrees below Fahrenheit, or so believes below 0, sorry, Fahrenheit. So they give it, of course, with a negative 3. So that one's kind of easy. They just tell you. Okay. Then the next step, I guess you'd say, is they're going to tell you what happened. There was an action. In this case, the temperature rose 3 degrees. Remember, if temperature is rising, is that a positive or negative? Positive. So in this case, here's all they want you to do. Put a positive 3, which ultimately is plus 3. We're adding 3 degrees to it. Okay. Okay, so we have negative 3 plus 3. And so we're going to go ahead. Step 3 is we're going to solve it. So building a t-chart. Now hopefully with this particular one you already know what it is. But in case you don't, here we go. So I go ahead, circle my integers, a -3, +3. So 3 is on the negative side, 3 is on the positive side. There are different sides. Okay, listen. You go, well, which way do we move it, Mr. Wilkins? Okay, well, when was the last time you saw the number -0? Okay, there is not one. Now, if you move it over to the negative and you subtract, that's fine. I'm not going to be picky about it. Just don't put negative on your answer. All right, so we move it over, subtract, and we get, of course, 0. Please. Oh, not the words. No. Don't worry about it. Okay, here we go. Step 4. Okay, here's what step 4 is. And this is mainly as a reminder to use. You might even want to put a star by it. The directions say, write and solve an addition equation. It says, then interpret the sum, meaning interpret what the answer means. So they're going to want you, an interpretation means just write a sentence. Okay, so you would just say, in this case, the temperature is, and the question right says, what is the current temperature? The temperature is currently 0 degrees. I need to make sure my units are there, the degrees, but also the Fahrenheit, not Celsius, right? So in your homework tonight, you'll need that as well as that. Okay, any questions on that particular problem? I'm going to have you guys try one on your own. Here we go. Try out problem number 5. Number 5. All right, I'll give you a minute for that since you have to write the sentence. Go. Okay, guys, go ahead. Anyone need more time? Okay. Remember, if you're one of those people that, you're already done before other people, get going on the rest of your homework. Use that time wisely. Do your homework. Of course, the similar ones that I've already taught you, do those while you're waiting. But since everyone's done, go ahead and turn to your neighbor. Please make sure everyone is involved in talking. 30 seconds. Go.
I got loss of -4 yards. Yeah, lost 4 yards.
Okay, here we go. Problem number 5. So it says a football team gained 6 yards on a play. It then lost 10 yards on the next play. What was the total change of yardage for the team? A gain of 6 yards, of course, is a +6. Now, you didn't have to put the little positive sign. I'm just going to do it. Okay? There's my first one, right? The second change, or the change, is it lost 10 yards. So I can show it a couple of ways. I can add a -10, or I could just subtract 10. They have the same value. A loss of 10 yards. It says, what's the total change of yardage for the team? So, total change means they just want us to solve it. So here I go. Circle +10, -10. 6 positives, 10 negatives. They're on different sides. Move it up for you guys. Different sides, so I move it over and subtract. Ends up being a -4, but my interpretation, let's see, let me reread it. It says, what's the total change of yardage? So negative in this particular case means a loss of, right? So I would then just say, there was a loss of 4 yards. Just kind of keeping it simple. There was a loss of 4 yards. Notice how the negative then goes back to being a word in your interpretation. Okay. Okay, questions on that one? Okay, I was just going to explain it to you, but it hit me. Maybe I should do one with you guys. Let's take a look on 24 through 32, all right, which was the question that your classmates asked earlier. Let's take a look at number 24. Let's just do 24 together, okay? I said this was my reminder to remind you to use order of operations. And in this case, it's all addition and subtract. Actually, they're all addition, right? Because that's the name of our lesson. So remember, if it's all addition, you can just go left to right, okay? And that's what that means. So, but we'll do one together. Here we go. 24. It's off of your homework, right? 10 plus -3 plus 3. Okay, now, if you take a look on the board, it doesn't require to use T-charts. So I'm going to use a T-chart right now, but it doesn't require you to. So here we go. If you use a T-chart, here's what you're going to do. You're going to add these two first. You only add 2 at a time. I have a +10 and a -3. I'm going through the exact same steps that I always go through. Over to the side, I'm going to go ahead and build my T-chart. I have +10, -3. They're on separate sides or different sides. So I go ahead, bring it over and subtract. I end up with a +7. At this point, I rewrite my problem. 7 plus 3. I'm hoping you guys know what that is. You wouldn't be in advanced math, I don't think, if you didn't know what that was. All right, 7 plus 3 is +10. If you build a T-chart, you're more than welcome to build your T-chart. 7 and 3 would end up on the same side, on the positive side, and you'd add. Okay. You don't have to. Okay, any questions, guys, on how you would do those problems? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you guys like a 3-minute break. You can use that to do your homework. You can use it to just stretch at your seat quietly. You can use it to talk to your neighbor quietly. It's up to you, but I'll give you a little 3-minute break, all right, before our next lesson.